Hello students, good morning. How are you? Hope you are all doing well and staying safe at home during this lockdown period. Thank you for our management, MJP AP BC Welfare Residential Schools and Junior College for Boys, Lepakshi, for providing such a beautiful opportunity to teach you through these online sessions. Welcome to this online session of Class 6 English Lesson 1 Peace and Harmony, presented by me, J. Justin. Now we'll start our session with a simple question. What is peace and harmony? I think you are all familiar with these two words, peace and harmony. So first of all, what is a peace? Peace is commonly used to mean as a lack of conflict between others. Conflict is nothing but a quarrel or a disagreement. So it is also a freedom from fear of violence. And whereas harmony is nothing but dealing with the disputes and resolving the conflicts or disagreement is called as harmony. In simple, we can tell that peace and harmony mean dealing with disputes and resolving conflicts fairly and properly with neutralization. Neutralization is nothing but make something ineffective. Now, look at the picture and answer the questions. What you can see in this picture? You can see a group of wild animals that lives in the jungle have gathered. And second question, what does this picture tells you about the animals? All the animals have gathered and they held the meeting, and it seems like they were singing and dancing, because in the picture you can see animals standing in two legs. That shows that they are singing and dancing. Third question, are they happy or unhappy? How do you know? If they are singing and dancing, definitely they are happy, because when they are unhappy they won't sing or dance. So this picture shows that all the animals are very happy. What are the characters of this story? So we will see the characters of this story. Animals. Which animals you can see in this story? Animals like elephants, monkeys, tiger, bear, squirrels, rabbits, buffaloes, fishes and deer are seen in this story. And birds like peacocks, bulbul, owl, cuckoos, eagle, mynas, parrots and hens are involved in this story. And snakes like pythons or viper are also seen, and the remaining insects like butterflies are present in this picture, in this story. Who is the guest of honor? Moon and his friends, the stars, are the guest of honor. Dispute solver. Who is the dispute solver? Moon, which comes as a sadhu to this earth, is the dispute solver among the animals. The scene of the story. This story happens in a forest, or which commonly known as a jungle. Now I want to play a small video, and I want to see how all these animals are living in the thick forest.
arrive on the planet, and blinking step into the sun. There's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. By the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky, keeps great and small on the endless round, is the circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love. The circle of life.
Welcome back. You have seen the video clipping. In that video, you have seen so many birds flying very freely and different kinds of animals like giraffe, zebra, lion, elephants, and butterflies. Everything you have seen. Even you have seen tiny ants which are busy in collecting the food. So all these animals, they are not harming each other, but they are living very happily together. And in the same way, in this picture which you are seeing right now, so it shows different animals are present in the jungle and they are not harming each other. They are very close to each other, isn't it not? So now we will start reading our passage and see how it was in the jungle. Once upon a time, in a very thick forest, there lived many animals, birds, snakes, and insects. They all lived together happily. They roamed about the jungle and played together in the open fields without any fear. So, according to our passage, so it was a very thick forest where so many kinds of animals, that is wild animals, they lived together. Animals, birds, snakes, and insects, they all lived together. They just roamed about the jungle very happily. Roamed means, what is mean by roamed? Roamed is nothing but wander without any special plan. So they roamed freely in the jungle without any fear because no animals are harming each other. And the peacocks were very proud of their dances but admired the melodious songs of the cuckoos. As you know, peacocks are very beautiful birds with their colorful feathers. Their feathers are very colorful and they are very proud and magnificent of their dances by opening its feathers. So they normally seems to be very beautiful, but even though apart from their beautiness, they still praise the melodious songs. They praise the sweet songs of cuckoos. What is mean by cuckoos? Cuckoos are the black birds which we commonly call it as quails. The elephants enjoyed watching the fish swimming in the pool. As you know, elephants are the biggest animal of the jungle. Even they are very big, they are very happy to see the fishes swimming in the water. So look at that elephant, it is playing with the fishes in the water. The pythons, which were blessed with long bodies, spoke well of the fine fur of the flat-footed rabbits. What is mean by pythons? Pythons are long-bodied, non-venomous or non-poisonous snakes. They are gifted with long bodies. So example, anacondas or etc. are there which are blessed with or which are gifted with very long bodies. They spoke well about the Even though they have the long body, they spoke well about the softest hairs of flat-footed rabbits. If you see the rabbits, they will have a very soft hairs on their body. So the pythons, which are blessed with long bodies, they spoke well about the fine hair of flat-footed rabbits. Fur means soft hairs. The tiny ants, which were always busy, tickled the dark buffaloes. They often held the musical evenings in a large open field. The tiny ants, as you know that tiny ants are the good example for its hard work, which is always busy in gathering the food. Day and night they gather the food and they store them. But even though they are very busy in their hard work, they just slightly touch the black buffaloes. They often held the musical evenings in a large open field. All the animals used to have musical evenings. Musical evenings in the sense having parties, singing, dancing together in the large open fields. So here in this clipping you can see animals which are dancing together and which are having a musical evening in the open field. So let's see a video clipping how the animals enjoy the musical evening.
Infobels!
Baba baba shi baba o shi baba. Baba baba shi baba o shi baba.
Hiya, hiya, hiya!
Baba baba shi baba o shi baba. Baba baba shi baba o shi baba.
Have you seen the musical evening of the animals? Yes, they have a very nice musical evenings and they sing and dance together and they live very freely. That video itself shows that all the animals are very happy. And see here, the elephant and the deer danced together. So even though the elephants are large bodied animals, they danced equally with the deer. The mynas and the parrots sang. What do that birds do? The mynas especially, which are small black birds, mynas, and the parrots, they sang the song in the musical evening. The tiger and the bear exhibited gymnastics. What is meant by gymnastics? Gymnastic movements are a special kind of exercise or a sport where an athlete freely moves or rotates his body. So in this clipping you can able to see the tiger and the bear exhibiting gymnastic movements in the musical evening. They call the moon and his friends the stars to be the guest of honor at their musical evenings. All the animals have invited or welcomed the moon and his friends, the stars, to be the guest of honor. What is mean by guest of honor? Guest of honor is nothing but an important person of that occasion. An important or a special person of that occasion. So they invited moon and his friends stars to be the guest of honor at their musical evenings. One day, a jackal entered the forest. He was dirty, dangerous, and very cunning too. So, up to now, all the animals are very happy. They are living very freely They are roaming, they are singing, having musical evenings, they are very happy. But now the real story starts here. The jackal had entered the forest. Who is this jackal? What kind of an animal it is? Jackal is a dog-like animal which lives in wild. It is very unclean. He was dirty, he was unclean and dangerous. He is very cruel in his thoughts and also by his actions, and very cunning too. Cunning in the sense, cunning is nothing but very crafty in achieving one's end. So he can achieve anything. Let's see the work of Jackal, what he did from here onwards. He told the elephants, "You are the biggest animals in the forest. Why do you want to play with the squirrels and rabbits?" Now the jackal has started his cunning work to poison the minds of animals. What he told the elephants, "You are the biggest animals in the forest. You have great power. But why do you want to play such a tiny and small little animals like squirrels and the rabbits?" So he just poisoned the mind of elephant now. He poisoned the minds of the peacocks, saying, "You are the loveliest birds in the forest. Why do you want to praise the miners?" As earlier, we have discussed that the peacocks are very beautiful and they appear to be beautiful because of its colorful feathers. So, by using its special characteristic feature, he poisoned the minds of peacocks, saying that they are the loveliest birds in the forest, but why do you want to praise or admire and appreciate the talent of miners, which is a very short little bird and also seems to be black in its appearance. The jackal then approached the deer and whispered that the tiger was waiting for a chance to kill them. The jackal met the deer and whispered. Whispered means speaking with a low voice. So normally we used to share secret in others' ears by whispering, speaking with a low voice. So jackal also met the deer and he whispered in its ear that the tiger is waiting for an opportunity to kill the deer. So he poisoned the mind of elephants, he poisoned the mind of peacocks, and now he also poisoned the mind of deers. Gradually, all the animals began suspecting one another. Slowly, they increased their doubt on other animals. They had fear. So, one by one, the animals started to suspect and they started to have distance among the other animals. Earlier, they lived together, slept together, and roamed around the forest together. Now, they start to put up boundaries and build fences around their properties. Once all these animals lived together, as we have seen the video, as we have seen different pictures, they all together, they are living together, they happily roamed, played, held musical evenings, they sang, they danced, everything. But now, what was the condition? But now they started to put up limits, they started to have boundaries or border, and also they built protection around their properties, that no other animals should enter into their limits. So they are aparted from each other. They moved about individually or with their own group. So in this video clipping you can see lions are moving with their own group, zebras are moving with their own group. They are not mingling with the others. So once all these animals are living together, but now they have been aparted from each other. They are moving individually or otherwise only with their own group. So it's a chance for the jackal. Now let's see what the jackal will do. Now it was easy for the jackal to hunt the smaller animals and birds, and when the smaller ones cried out for help, no one came to help them. One by one, the little ones disappeared. Now, animals started to roam alone. It became very easy for the jackal, who was waiting for this opportunity or for this chance, to kill all the small tiny animals, because when they are with the bigger ones they might be helped, but now they can't be helped because they are alone and it is easy for the jackal to hunt them. And when the small animals shouted for help from the jackal, no animals turned to help them because now there is no unity among the animals. So it's a good chance for the jackal to kill the animals one after the other and to have them as its meal. The smaller ones started to vanish from the forest one by one. The forest slept as the animals were afraid. There were no more musical evenings. The moon was sad, he cried. All the animals were in fear by seeing the animals vanishing one after the other in the forest. All the animals, they slept with fear because they might also vanish from this forest on one day. Now there is no musical evening, there is no singing and dancing among the animals. All the animals are filled with fear and sorrow. The moon is full of sorrow. He cried that the animals were not happy and they are in fear. Why? Because moon was a guest of honor for the musical evenings held by the animals. So now the moon is also not happy, it is very sad by seeing all the animals in fear and in sorrow. Now the moon thought for a while and decided to come down among the animals and the birds as Sadhu. So Moon, who was once a guest of honor of the musical evening, decided to come down to the earth among the animals and birds as a sadhu. Sadhu means hermit, or what we call him as yogi or a rishi. So he decided to come to the earth among the animals in the form of a hermit to solve the disputes among them. As soon as the sadhu appeared in the forest, the animals and the birds approached him to narrate their tales of woe. When the rishi or the sadhu came down to the forest, the animals met the sadhu to explain their story of sorrow. So woe means sorrow and the tales means story. So story of sorrow. So all the animals ran to the sadhu to tell about their problems, to explain their story and how they are not in peace, and also to get help from the sadhu. They cried, sobbed and blamed each other for disturbing the peace in the forest, and the sadhu listened to them. All these animals, they started to cry, they started to sob. Sob in the sense crying with a sigh of quick breath, and blamed each other for disturbing. So they are just complaining that on the other animals which are responsible for the lack of peace in the forest. And the sadhu very quietly listened to all the animals complaining on other animals for their responsibility in disturbing the peace in the forest. Now the sadhu brought together the lions and the rabbits for a common meal. As you know that lion and rabbit are two different animals having different habits, food habits, but they were brought together for a common and a regular meal. He visited the python and the viper and had a long chat with them. As just before we have discussed, python are the non-venomous snakes, whereas the viper is a poisonous snake. He just visited both these snakes and had a long discussion with them. So to he's trying to solve the dispute among all the animals. That's why he's visiting all the animals one by one and he's solving their problem. He advised the eagle not to attack the little chicks that had lost their mother recently. So The sadhu recommended the eagle not to attack or kill the chicks who had lost their mother. The sadhu accompanied the tiger and the wild bear to the nearest market. So accompanied is nothing but taking along. So the sadhu took both the tiger and the bear to the nearest market, took them as his escorts. So he accompanied both the tiger and the wild bear to the nearest market. And then Sadhu played with the bulbul, the owl and the monkeys. What is bulbul? Bulbul is a kind of bird which you can see in this clipping. So bulbul is a kind of tropical bird. So he played with the bulbul, the owl and also with the monkeys. So he's trying to solve all the disputes among the animals and birds. But the jackal was very angry with what the sadhu was doing. He did not want the animals to live in peace and harmony, so he was waiting for an opportunity to attack the sadhu. The jackal was very angry. Why it was very angry with the sadhu? Because this jackal, with its cruel thoughts and with its cunning mind, it has separated all the animals. So it is easy for the jackal to kill them when they are aparted from each other. But the sadhu is trying to solve the dispute and reuniting all the animals. So he is once again making all the animals to live in peace and harmony. So that's why this jackal was very angry on the sadhu. So he was waiting for a chance to attack the sadhu instead of animals. One day, the animals, insects and birds held an emergency meeting and they unanimously decided to approach the sadhu and pleaded with him to kill the jackal. The sadhu said, "I will not kill the jackal but will help you in a different way." One day, all these animals and birds which are living in the forest, they suddenly held a unexpected gathering and they all together agreed to approach the sadhu and also to plead and to request him to kill the jackal. Why? Because this jackal is reducing the peace and harmony among the animals and it is also killing all these animals present in the forest. So they are requesting the sadhu to kill the jackal. But the sadhu said, "I will not kill the jackal but will help you in a different way." The sadhu didn't agree to kill the jackal, but he promised the animals that he will help those animals in a different way from the jackal. When the sun went to sleep, the jackal came to the house of hens to take a few of them for his supper. The sadhu, who had been lodging nearby, came out of the house and spoke to the jackal. "Take me today for your meal." When the sun set in the evening, the jackal came to the hen's coop. So the house of the hens is nothing but the hen's coop, to have few of them for his dinner. Supper means dinner. The sadhu, who is residing in the nearest place, came out of his house. Lodging means who is residing. So who is residing nearby came out of his house and he spoke to the jackal, asking the jackal, take him today for his dinner instead of the hens. So he's just asking the jackal, you can take me as your meal instead of hens. Leave the hens and just you can take me as your dinner. The jackal, who had been waiting for this opportunity, dragged the sadhu to a lonely place, tore him into pieces and ate him up. So as we know that the jackal is waiting for an opportunity to kill the sadhu. So now he had a very good chance. He is waiting for this opportunity. So what he did, he dragged the sadhu. He just dragged the rishi to a isolated place or to a lonely place and just tore him into pieces. He happily ate him up. He ate the sadhu. All the animals were sad angry and disappointed with what had happened to the sadhu. They were afraid that the hungry jackal would appear again the next day. Now, so animals are very sad. They are in sorrow. They are in displeasure, and also they are disappointed or saddened with what has happened to the sadhu, because the jackal has killed him and also it ate him. So they are in fear that one day this hungry jackal will again appear and also it can kill, and now it can able to just spoil the peace and harmony among the animals. Then they heard a strange noise. All of them ran in that direction. What they saw surprised them. All the animals heard a different sound. As soon as hearing the sound, these animals ran towards the direction of the sound, and they wondered by seeing there. Let's see what they saw there. They saw the stomach of jackal growing bigger and bigger. It continued to bloat until it burst. So, by seeing the stomach of jackal grown very big, you can understand or you can guess why it had happened. It has grown bigger and caused it to swell until the stomach has busted because it ate the moon. It ate the sadhu. It ate the moon who is in the form of sadhu. Then, after the burst of its stomach, then they heard a soft voice, "May my animals, birds and insects live in peace and harmony. May there be no fences around you. May you sing and dance once again. Remember me and not be afraid." Now the jackal has died. After eating the moon, its stomach has become bigger and bigger and bigger. It started to bloat and it burst and it died. So after its death, there was a sweet voice in the sky wishing them, "May all my animals, birds and insects live in peace and harmony." And it is also wishing them not to have any fences which they have laid before. And the moon, it tells to all the animals that may you sing and dance once again, to have the musical evenings. And it is also telling them, remember me and not be afraid. So whenever they are in sorrow, whenever they are in pain, so to remember about the moon which can help them and not be afraid. So not to afraid of any other enemies like jackal. And now they started to have a musical evenings every day. When they looked up at the sky, the moon shining brilliantly, spreading milky brightness over the earth, the animals once again started to roam, sing and sleep in peace. They broke down their fences which they had built. They invited the moon and the stars for their cultural evenings. Once the jackal had been died, the moon again occupied its space in the sky. It shone brilliantly, spreading its milky brightness all over the earth. Now the animals once again started to reunite. They started to roam happily, sing and sleep in peace and harmony. They broke all their fences. They broke all their boundaries and limits which they kept to their properties. Now they also invited the moon and the stars as a guest of honor for the cultural evenings which was held. So let's see how these animals have restarted their cultural evenings, or they have invited the moon and the stars for their cultural evenings.
Let's make a
Good impression on the people.
Smiles, everyone.
Smiles,
Let's get it
everyone.
together.
Get it together.
Is that the best you
That's
can
the best
do,
you can
Melman?
do, Melman.
Okay, well, great.
Let's make gas look good.
Look at here how the animals are having their musical evening. They are having their cultural evenings happily. All the animals are playing, singing, they are dancing happily.
Move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it. She like to move it, move it. He like to move it. I got to love with the word. Original Julia. What a
That's it. And now it's a question time. So if you have any questions regarding this topic, you can ask me and get clarified. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and press the bell icon to download or to share and to watch some more videos from this channel.